Hi friends, host Eric here. I was talking with most people. It would appear that I am unable to live stream on this Berkeley Wi-Fi. They've got Cal Visitor Wi-Fi, and I guess it's not good enough. Anyway, I'm at the Cal Berkeley Debate tournament with my debater Jeffrey and his dad and Rachel. Rachel's back home sleeping in the hotel, and interestingly, I don't have another judging. I don't have another round until 1 p.m. after this one. Jeffrey's first flight of JBLD in the morning, and the next round for JBLD is not until 1 p.m. So it's a spread out tournament. Like this is what we would call a major in debate. You know how tennis has U.S. Open, Australian Open, French Open, Wimbledon is the majors, and golf's got certain majors too, like the Masters and I don't know other ones like that. Debate's the same way. It's got a lot of tournaments, but there are only a few majors, and Berkeley's one of them. Green Hill's one of them. Harvard's one of them. Yale maybe. Those are probably the big ones. There's a couple big ones in Texas too. They're more Texas oriented. Texas, California, both are very big debate states. Anyhow, it's exciting to be here again. I like coming to this tournament. However, it's also the case that I am very sick at the moment. On the way back from Hawaii, I got sick. I got sick when I got back from Hawaii, basically. And it's understandable why. It's like this used to happen every time I flew. It's I didn't deal with my SI well the last day or so of Hawaii, and the flight and everything, and all the stress on my system. My immune system just sort of gave up the fight, I guess. I don't know. But it's really nice to be able to spend an extra 5 days with Rachel. She's leaving actually not leaving until Thursday morning, which brings to mind the following thought I had the other night. Is, how could it possibly be the case that Tuesday is Rachel's last night here and she's not leaving until Thursday? Well, pretty simple. She's leaving Thursday 12 a.m., 12:05 a.m. So, or 12:30 maybe, I'm not sure. It's before 1 a.m. on Thursday. So, that's why. Anyhow, we had a long drive up here yesterday. It's like a 7-hour drive. But it was quite pleasant because she and I just get along so beautifully. And we have the same taste in music. And, we played Snappy Tracks most of the way up here, and it was eminently satisfying. It's like nothing but hit after hit, like perfect track after track. And listen to my music as well. And I believe she genuinely does like my music. I don't think she's just blowing smoke in my ass. She was an enthusiast to my music before there was anything. When I was still a long time with Kimberly, So that's a pretty good indicator that she's not just blowing smoke. I remember her as somebody who would comment positive comments on my music, for a long time. So this is kind of like, it's a very satisfying environment for me to be in because I see a lot of people I recognize, but also just sort of see a lot of scenes I recognize and realities I recognize. This place, this sort of activity is just phenomenal. With all these kids around here in suits and ties and like the female equivalent of suits and ties, whatever that is, I don't know. But, the level of discourse here is extremely high. Much higher than it is in the colleges as a whole. It's like, I walk around here, you see these pro-socialism kind of flyers and stuff as though it's just the willful blindness of those who would try to attribute some positivity to the unjust violence of socialism is insane. But regardless, it's a sort of sloppy discourse that these high school students or middle school students like mine would never engage in because it's so awful and poor. Um, but all these college students, liberal arts college students, are just like, dumb, frankly. No other word for it. People think they can somehow remove the unjust violence from socialism. They're insane. Capitalism is simply the absence of violence that would otherwise interfere with humans doing the natural exchanges and trying to profit off their endeavor as they naturally would. Preventing that from occurring is socialism. Preventing it from occurring always requires violence. But, magical thinking imbues the NFP. There's not really any reason for me to even sit here now, except I'm just waiting for my kid to finish his round, I guess, and see how he went, because you really can't spectate in there. They've got a ballroom with a bunch of tables in it, and around at every table. And around each of the tables, they have exactly 3 chairs. One for the judge, one for each debater. It's LD, so it's one-on-one debate. Anyway, there's an additional factor, which is because my kid was too late sending in their check or whatever to get into Open LD. He's in JBLD, which means he's got like this parent judge right now. It's just like, I asked him if it was cool with the judge. I went up to the table and was like, "Hey, is it cool if I spectate?" Which it is, but it's nice to ask anyway, sort of the FE thing. She's all, "What? Are spectators okay?" Every judge has their own table. No, I'm saying, can I watch, lady? And she's like, "Oh." She looked to the debaters and they're just like, "Ay, this is the judge? Come on now. Come on." But it is JB. And the nice thing is, my kid's getting, as your debaters get better and better, they start to be able to win in front of a broader variety of judges. My kid is getting pretty good. And he's got a better AF case than an A case. Our AF case is brilliant, and I expect him to slay with it. But he's on an egg right now. But even so, I suspect he'll certainly put up a good showing here. Presumably the girls in high school that he's debating against. But that's no big deal. I've had 8th graders win high school tournaments before, so I don't think he's going to win JB at Berkeley, probably. I'm sure it's a huge field. I'm sure it's, probably hundreds of entries, I would guess. But one never knows. It certainly is. He has everything he needs to win this thing. Which is to say, he understands all the argumentation vectors, all the different ways they impact out, how to frame shit properly. He knows what to do. Meow, 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 But obviously, he doesn't execute things precisely the way I want him to execute them. For particularly his personality type, he's an HP, and like me, and he can be NI ignoring, which means he ignores the determinant factor sometimes in favor of some additionally.
Should I go watch that round?
In favor of some additional new notion that he's come up with, or whatever, or just some other ideas. Like, he doesn't ever want to actually repeat things the way I say them. He wants to rephrase them all the time, which tells you something about NTPs. It's like, NTPs are experiential knowledge. To know something, they experience it. They make it their own. And so it's part of where the inclination towards novelty comes from. It's like, before Mia can become part of my ontology, I've got to turn it into my own Mia. It's
seemed like it.
Oh, I want to learn how to bake an apple pie. I'm not going to follow the recipe. I'll look at the recipe. I'll do my own version of it, slightly adjusted, and then cook that. So we'll see how Jeffrey does here under the auspices of,
You know
not the
what?
auspices.
should.
Horse Mobile is going to correct me, my diction, anytime I use the wrong word. I know that. So,
Lindbergh has any good teams? Who?
representing Philharmonic Debate, which is the name of the school that I'm in charge
There's no
of.
X.
It's the name of my current debate school.
Yeah.
I have one client.
Oh, XM.
And I call it Philharmonic
Okay, I'm gonna go
because
website,
his parents play for the LA Philharmonic. Both of them do. Two parents both play for the LA Philharmonic, which is neato, I think. And they travel a lot, and they bring me back Cuban cigars from places that sell Cuban cigars. I indicated them that was a gift I really liked. They got that for me all the time. So that's really nice. And, it's like, I try to make things as cost effective for them as possible. So it's like, for this trip, in general, I tell them, like tournament days, I just have a per diem of like $50 just to cover my expenses. And then close it up in Berkeley. Now, granted, they're covering my room, so there's that. But I don't. I want to make sure that however many tournaments, because that's the best way to get good is to go have a bunch of tournaments, debate in a bunch of tournaments against the hardest competition you can get. I want my kid to win the state championship in middle school this year, so I wish he could have gotten into Open, but we were a little late, If he goes through Open LD at Berkeley, he'll certainly be well prepared for the middle school state championships coming up. I also want him to win middle school TSC. So, it's certainly plausible. Those are plausible outcomes. I've done those sort of things before. Middle school TSC is relatively new. I've never won it, but I've had NSD international champions before. And this kid's good. He's good, and his parents want him to win. It's like, and he wants to win. So they're like, "Can you come work again?" Okay. All right, cool. You guys are serious. That's what I like to see. And obviously, it's good for me because I get more hours. So anyway, Hawaii was super expensive. Oh my god. I'm having a fight right now with Dollar Rent a Car because they're trying to screw me basically. Shady, underhanded dealings by those people. Anyway, the office I need to talk to isn't open on the weekends. It won't be open until Tuesday because it's a 3-day weekend. So the charges they tried to push through on a Friday afternoon before a 3-day weekend, after their offices for billing questions had closed, I'll have to wait till Tuesday. However, I've disputed the charge with my bank, so TFB Dollar Rent a Car. Bullshit. The car's supposed to cost me $350. Now, after I paid that $350, which they did when I rented it back in January, it warned me that there'd be another $130 worth of taxes and fees that I had to pay when I got there. So I'm like, fine, whatever. And when I got there, I did pay that. And then they tricked me into getting extra insurance that I didn't want by implying that it was necessary for me to get it, it was required. It wasn't. But there's slick and underhanded ways. I didn't catch it until I was driving away. And then there was a $200 deposit. Okay, fine. They're going to put a hold on the card for that. Fine. So then, I returned the car. I said everything's fine. I checked my bank on Thursday night, the day after we got home, and everything looked fine, appropriate. And then Friday afternoon, all of a sudden there's this almost $700 charge from Dollar Rent a Car. And I'm like, the fuck? So, if I were to just ignore that, then the car, instead of costing $350 for a week, It would have ended up costing actually $1,000. I prepaid the gas, so it can't be that. It can't be that I returned it empty. I was supposed to return it empty. That's why I prepaid for the gas. These people. And I didn't crash it or anything, but even if I had got that stupid fucking unnecessary basic insurance coverage, which they told me meant that I could bring it back in whatever condition, it'd be fine. And I brought it back in perfect condition. I didn't crash it or anything. And it was totally clean. It's like, what the fuck, dollar rent a car? You know? What the fuck? So anyway, now dollar rent a car gets my foot up their ass. When I call them on Tuesday, boy, are they really gonna get my foot up their ass. Because, that's what an underhanded malfeasance is, the kind of behavior that seems to indicate a systemic problem with this corporation, which is the kind of problem that tends to lend itself to class action lawsuits. And I'll make it abundantly clear to them. They fucked with the wrong guy. So, take that, dollar rent a car. That's it for this morning's video, I guess. I wish I could live stream, but I guess the internet's not good enough here or something. I don't know. Talk to you soon. I'll live stream back to the hotel. Presumably the internet's good enough there.